to go to Republicans to get me help in passing that bill, which became law this year on March 20th, 2019.
Yeah.
So ousting me from the Democratic caucus did not stop the work that we were doing. However, we could have been doing so much more with everything that all the other representatives had. So it really shocks me that the other state representatives are in a room and they got one representative out and they're not saying one word. That makes no sense. We know that if kids are on the playground and there's one over here and all these kids are playing, what do we encourage them to do? Go seek out that child that is sitting by themselves. Go seek out that child and see if they need a friend. Go seek out that child and see what they need. But here we have elected officials. You have to understand, they could just invite me into the room. One of them, just one of them, could invite me into the room and sit down. And why do I say that? Because we can invite students, lobbyists, corporate people. We can invite anyone to come in the room and sit down and listen to our caucus. Yet, not one member until the night before I got assaulted asked me to come to the caucus. So I want to tell you what happened. The day before, I think it was June, was it May 21st? May 21st, I'm so excited because I'm going to go to my caucus whether they like it or not. And I had a member that said, you should come on to the caucus. So I did. I go to the caucus. I sit down in the room. This caucus is at 6:30 at night. I sit down in the room. Not one member of the caucus said one word to me with regard to, I don't want you there. No one said anything. 3 minutes later, Representative Kristen Boggs comes into the room and she says that the leader of the caucus doesn't feel well, so they're canceling the meeting. Now, she doesn't say she's canceling the meeting because I'm sitting there. She doesn't say, Representative Kent, you don't need to be standing here. You don't need to be sitting here. And we don't want you in there tomorrow. No, she didn't say it because they're cowards. They're cowards. If you're going to kick me out, if you're going to talk about me to my face.
Yeah.
And they don't want to do that. They don't want to do that. So there's no problem, right? I got into the evening caucus. Surely I can get into tomorrow's caucus that is right before the floor session. So I go. 20 minutes before our caucus is supposed to start, I'm over in the Federalism Committee, which is right next door. I said, let me go on over to the caucus room and speak to a representative. I go to enter the committee room at the State House, and suddenly the attorney for the caucus and the deputy chief for the caucus suddenly appear in front of me, blocking the doorway of a room that was not being utilized. I said, I'm gonna go on in this room. And I start to go in, and they push me back. And I said, look, I wanna go in there and speak to the representative in the room. I start to go in again, they push me back. I said, ugh. So I start. Because what was interesting, and I knew it was a setup, is because the minute I touched starting to go into the room, the caucus attorneys start going, Representative Kent, you're pushing me. Representative Kent, you're pushing me. Representative Kent, you're pushing me. I said, oh, you're going to do the white girl damsel in distress, huh? Oh, that's what you're doing. Getting attacked by the big black bear? Is that what you're doing? Because that's what she was doing. She was so sure that the sergeant at arms would come over and arrest me because I'm black and she's white. That attitude is stupid and ignorant, and she found out she had it wrong. She had it wrong. He did not come over and arrest me.
Yeah.
He did not. But what he did do, as the sergeant at arms, and I'm gonna always question everything, what he did do was come and lead me away. And what I wrote the next day was, why did he lead me away? I wasn't the one unlawfully blocking the door. I wasn't one acting outside my capacity as a security. I wasn't the one pushing a state representative back. So why was I led away? That's because you want to get me, all of you. All of you want to stop me, but that's just not going to work. That's not going to work because you let me in the door. You let me in the door. I'm in the door. And now they're breaking down. Thank you, Robert Petraeus. I wish Sean was here. That article that Sean did in that free press, that shook them up. But that shook them up. They were not going to do anything with those employees until that article came out. Now, they said they've transferred those employees for investigation over to the Ohio State Highway Patrol, and I put my complaint in the hands of the Ohio Inspector General. Now, that's BS. That's BS. I know it's BS, but they won't get away with it. I'm going to keep pushing. I'm not going to have those employees there. Not happening. When I go back, I don't want to see their faces. I don't want to see their faces because I know what they were up to. So what I'm saying to you is that I got this. I got this. I got this. I got this. You can believe that. Because the first time the minority leader wrote me, she wrote me May 30th. She didn't write me until after I wrote a complaint to the speaker. Why do we have to march? Why do we have to complain and scream for months and years to get just a little bit? And it's because this corruption that they have down there at the State House. And I'm gonna tell you what they have going on is intimidation of those other members. So when you need to understand that your members need you, that you're supporting, they need you to support them enough so that they're not intimidated down there, because it is definitely an intimidating atmosphere if they don't like what you say or how you say it. But when that article came out, as I said, and when I filed the complaint with the speaker, the minority leader finally wrote me for the very first time. And she said, you said you wanted to meet with me. So what do you want to meet with me about? That was her first email, trying to, from an iPhone at 11:30 at night. Scared to, she sounded like a little Hillary there, afraid to put it in her rep email. So then I write again, she gets nervous, and they have a meeting about me. Now the room they didn't want me in, yet they get to talking about me in the room. They were arguing so loud in that room about me that the person in the next room committee heard them arguing and texted them and said, we can hear you. We can really hear you. And so these are few people in the room. And I have actually talked to some Democrats who are afraid. Who are afraid. Can you imagine your state representative is in a caucus room and afraid to speak up? Can you imagine? And I'm gonna tell you, they did this sham legal process, this sham expulsion. They allowed me to walk in. They never notified me. They never let me know that they were going to expel me last year, June 7, 2018. I walk into the caucus room like any other day. 26 bills, because we hadn't been on the House floor for a while, so we do 26 bills. 10 minutes is left in the caucus meeting. The minority leader at that time is Fred Strayhorn. He tells everyone with regard to staff to leave the room. And then a representative, Tavia, because I'm dropping names. You don't even have to worry about it. I'm dropping names.
Do it.
So, Tavia Golansky, I think she's out of Akron. She stands up and she says, I am making a motion to expel Representative Kent for that letter, and we need to call security.
10 minutes left.
Now let me tell you about that Tavia Golansky. Now she mentions that letter. She said, I want to make this motion to expel her based on that letter. I want you to know that after I sent that letter out, Tavia Golonsky wrote me back and said, that was an excellent and thorough letter. So what made her flip? Pressure. Political pressure. But what I say to all those people that have political pressure, that's not what the people put you there for. If you're going to succumb to political pressure, then don't run. Don't run. We don't need you. If you're not going to do the right thing, we don't need you. We got enough people down there that don't know anything about who we are and what we're trying to do. We don't need any more. We don't need any more. But they are afraid, shockingly enough. But I'm not. And I'm going to get back in my caucus. You don't even have to worry about it. You can either put me back in or pay my whole constituency. You choose, because we have a right to be there. So I want you to know I have this. Please keep track of it, because it's going to be a bumpy ride for them. Thank you.
All right, and what Representative Kent didn't tell you, what started all this is she actually complained to the city and the safety director and the chief of police in writing, complained that police officers weren't taking rape complaints against children. Because, right, when you got a really good snitch who's a prostitute, sometimes, you know, their kids are going to witness certain things. So you don't want to lose the good snitch. Okay. So then she went on to write a letter to the mayor. And that's when the head of the caucus came up to her and reminded her that Andy Ginther is our friend.
Yeah.
And that meant, shut the hell up, black woman. Is that this could cause problems. Because everyone knows, it was in the Free Press, that Andy is the foremost Democrat in the state, right? He, man of major accomplishments. I pointed him out. He wasn't indicted, hence he gets to run unopposed. So that's what caused all of this. And that's why we need to fight against a gutless and soulless Democratic Party and get in there with all the parties we have here. Libertarian candidate for governor. Where else can you find a state rep ostracized by your own caucus? With the Green Party candidate for governor, with the Libertarian Party candidate for governor last year, and of course the biggest group of ass kickers in the city. To the biggest group of ass kissers in the city. Because if you go inside the headquarters, you'll see a picture of me and Bill Moss in 2003. They spent $500,000 keeping us off the city council. They united both parties and barely beat Bill Moss. And why did they do it? For the sovereign right of Ron Pizzuti to get an $18 million tax break. And then they go public and say, oh my God, well, he's bringing in $800,000 to the city. I mean, what kind of, no wonder we're 44th in math, tied with Nigeria. Right? 18 million to a multi-millionaire because he's bringing in 800,000. Let's screw poor kids in the city of Columbus, in the school district. And we're the people that's not going to put up with it. And we're the people who also love music. And we're going to sit here, and not only are we going to talk, we're going to enjoy some great music, and we're going to fight back. Thank you.
All right, WCRS and WGRN are going to be at Comfest. They're going to have a booth. I think they're going to have a booth together.